You're a Chili Peppers fan? Good luck. Be caller 10. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
To all our men and women in uniform,
I've been a lifelong fan, 20 years in the military, come back, and to find your afternoon show is f***ing horrible.
thanks from the Alan Cox Show
Horrible, horrible.
on 100.7 WMMS.
Three 35192 on a text for something. AlanCoxShow.com. Want to watch live? You can do it there. And if you do, you'll see the face of one Brian Quintavious Kenny. I assume that's your middle name, Quintavious?
It absolutely is. That is a family name.
Uh-huh. It goes back generations, I assume.
Generations and generations.
Yeah.
Oh,
are
way
you?
back to the old country. I'm great.
What is your middle name?
John.
Brian John. So
Not even Jonathan, just John.
Just John.
Yeah, long way away from Quintavious.
Oh.
Yeah.
Old
Yours got a little extra
BJK.
stank on it. I like that.
Mhm. Of course, a lot of people know Brian Kenny as Ken O from the
Ooh.
Ohio State Lottery commercials.
You know, nobody really knows me from those.
But they're still on. I still hear them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is the exact opposite of the rest of comedy. I got paid a good amount, but don't get that much exposure.
Right.
And I'm completely fine with that.
That's all right.
I love
Just
those
Do they keep
take
paying
the
you?
checks.
Do they keep re-upping or?
Yeah, they keep
Nice.
paying for the likeness.
Nice.
How did that come about? I'm sure I've asked you that before, but I haven't seen you in a while, and so I forget what we've talked about.
I know. I was looking back on our emails, and when I was last here, it was 2019.
Well, not just here, but I feel like the last time I saw you, like, I was leaving a Browns pregame. It was the night that you dumped on your scooter.
Oh, wow.
I think that was the
yeah.
last time I saw you. We just bumped into each other on the street a couple of seasons ago.
I bumped out on that
And the
scooter
next day,
hard.
Bill was like, because I go, I ran into Brian Kenny last night. He goes, I think he crashed on his scooter. I'm like, he was just getting the scooter as I was talking to you. But it was like pitch black. It didn't surprise me.
It was, I was like at a stop sign down in the flats.
Yeah.
And like somebody was there, and it was my right of way because I had been waiting. And I started going, then the car started going. And so I like gunned it. I was in the middle.
Oh, you're trying to.
Gunned
Oh,
it.
man.
And then I went and it like hit a crack on the other side of the street and it dumped me head first. I hit hard.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm good. At
Yeah.
least, I never got any sort of x-rays or anything. But I
You
think
never
I'm
got
good.
anything.
No.
He's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to go to sleep for 24 hours and then it'll be all right.
Maybe it'll show up as CTE one day.
Yeah.
But I think I'm good for now.
But for now, who
Yeah.
cares? Yeah.
In 15 years, 20 years, people will be like, oh my God, did you hear Ken O murdered a bunch of people? And they think it was CTE. They'll have to dig into that.
Do the old shotgun to the chest. Stood in my brain.
Do the junior say out.
Oh, Brian, Jonathan Kenny, and Junior Seau met similar. Brian is doing the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls. That's tonight.
That is tonight.
That's tomorrow. Is it
and
2
tomorrow.
shows per evening?
2 shows per. We got a special
Wow.
guest set from OK Pants tonight.
Okay.
That's
you know,
gonna be
it's so
fun.
funny because he keeps in our group chat. He keeps going, "I'm guesting at the Funny Stop tonight," and I'm not correcting him because he's like newer to doing stand up, so he hasn't got these terms all down yet.
I didn't
So I'm
know
like,
he was doing that.
Yeah, he's starting to do it more
Oh,
and more.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he's getting into it. He's dabbled in it for a long time, but he's doing it with a little bit more fervor now, and he's funny. I mean, he's always been a funny
yeah.
dude. So
He's hilarious.
but yeah, he's like, "I'm guesting tonight." I'm like, have fun
Well, it is what
guesting.
he's doing.
I know, but
yeah, it's what he's doing.
guesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go to funnystop.com. You can call. Well, you know the number.
Off the top of my head, no.
No, you don't know the number?
330-923-4700.
4700. I was quizzing because I figured you would know.
No.
This says has appeared on Fox. That was Fox Laughs.
Yeah.
Can be seen on Hulu.
That is Fox Laughs as well. I
Oh,
doubled
okay.
down.
Now
Same
that's
thing.
pretty good.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I
Did you
thought,
just do one episode, the one here, or did you do a couple?
Just the one here.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did like 3 episodes of that.
is that
and I
still a
don't-
thing? That
No,
that
no,
show?
no.
It's pretty short lived.
But
yeah?
it did kind of launch the career of Taylor Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Oh, did it
kind of.
really?
Yeah.
She was the host of it. So it was Steve Hofstetter, and then they're like, yeah, let's get, and even him knowing like we should find somebody else that's
Yeah.
easier to look at than me, and they got Taylor Tomlinson, and she became the host of that.
People were
And
pretty
that was, like,
mad
her
at him because he
first
wasn't
gig.
paying anybody.
I mean, he was paying people. It was a dirt, like it wasn't a big production.
I know, like
You
the
were getting,
first
like,
season,
$100
nobody
or
got
something,
paid and
yeah.
everybody was complaining, and then the second season, people got $100 and they stopped complaining.
Right. But we can all agree that she's easier to look at than Steve Hofstetter, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
very talented.
Yeah.
What you were on the Alan Cox Show comedy tour years ago, too.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah. Bill, do you remember the Alan Cox Show comedy tour? Remember when we used to do that?
All those years
Oh,
ago.
back in my day, we would send people up on stage, and that was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, man, that first time, you guys gave me an open bar. I took full advantage of it, and I was so mad at myself when I got off stage. I'm like, I just messed this whole thing up. I slurred the whole time. I was
who
like, no, you did
cares?
great.
No, it's supposed to be a big party. It was a big party.
It was a big party.
Yeah. And for a minute, to their credit, post-pandemic, this company really acted like they wanted to do it again. They really talked to me as though it was a priority. And
And then what happened?
I appreciate them going through the motions of doing that, but I mean, it was. You're a married guy, yes?
I'm a married guy.
I feel like you got married since I saw you.
Probably.
Were you still single when I saw you?
It was.
Or were you
not
single
when
when
I
you crashed your
no,
head?
I was
Okay.
not single when I crashed
You
my
were
head.
married then.
I was married. I've been married for 2.5 years now.
You got a kid? You don't have a kid.
No, we're going to start trying soon, though.
Are you?
Uh-huh.
So what is that?
Little Contavious Jr.
When people go, we're going to start trying. What does that? This sounds like a ridiculous question, but I'm somebody who I have 3 children, and none of them were like, we're going to start trying. It's like, if a woman puts my underwear on, she'll get pregnant, Brian. I'm very fertile, so I had to be very, very careful. I've since been snipped, but I had to be very, very careful.
Well, no, there's been birth control involved.
Oh, yeah.
Until this point.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also, my wife she has a couple different autoimmune things going on.
Okay.
So she's been on this medication that has helped quite a bit.
Yep.
But you cannot have a baby when
Like
you're on
T-Pain?
it. So
Oh,
she
I
actually
see.
has to what?
That's auto-tune,
Oh,
Bill.
okay, my bad.
That one went over my head.
Not autoimmune. Auto-tune is what T-Pain is known for.
So she's got to do like a flush of that
I thought
stuff.
she was gonna be like, I'm gonna have a baby. was my
Okay, yeah,
auto-tune.
so she really has to,
Yes, we've been careful.
you do have to plan.
Yes.
Not just figuratively speaking.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Literally plan it.
Right.
Did she learn to cook yet?
And then we're just going to raw dog all over
Yeah.
the place. Yeah.
Because one of Brian's, I don't want to spoil the bit, but he insinuates that his
His
wife
bride?
does not know how to cook.
Are you insinuating, or is that the case that she
There
doesn't
was
know
a
how to
long
cook?
period of time where she refused to learn how to cook, and
Yeah.
since then, probably in spite of the bit, she has started
She stepped up the
cooking.
game, yeah.
So I'm gonna keep doing the bit. 'cause
Yeah,
it's great.
It's a great bit.
But
yeah.
I think I double win because I get to do the bit and she learned how to
Why
cook.
did she dig in her heels on the cooking?
She just didn't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's like, you're a grown man, you'll figure it out.
But I was doing the cooking.
Oh,
for a
you were
while.
doing
yeah,
the
I was
cooking.
doing most
Oh,
of the
I
cooking.
see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something, did that lead to arguments? Were there fisticuffs? Was it a Donnybrook? Was it?
No, they get along very well.
We
They're-
get along
yeah,
real well.
they're-
I mean,
they're-
yeah.
We talk a lot of trash to one another. I
Yeah,
call
of
her
course.
an idiot at least 5 times a day. But
Okay.
we still get along great.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. See, I like that. We were talking maybe earlier in the week about how I'm fascinated by couples that genuinely don't seem to like each other.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I, I think in kind of a similar way. You can goof around and you can like poke at each other, but it's not in like a nefarious kind of angry way. There's a lot of couples where you can tell. They're like, this is just how we communicate, but it's more than that.
It's
You can
animosity.
it's animosity.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about people that have been around. I'm not talking about retirees, people who haven't been married that long. And it's like, how did you end up here? Because you don't seem to enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
You're like really excited when they're not around. It's weird to me.
Those are the ones that fascinate me. Like I've got certain buddies where they are always looking forward to like dude time and getting away from the wife so that they can be themselves. It's like your
Right.
wife hasn't really even met you.
Right.
I have buddies
That
whose
seems
friends
terrible.
don't
That's-
know that they smoke weed. And it's like, you got to hide this? This is a pretty big thing.
Well, not only
You
that,
like it a lot.
because that's a real hard thing to hide. So that
Yeah.
means the wife's barely paying attention to him. She's making it easier for him to hide, and he doesn't
Yeah.
even realize it. He's like, oh, she's not even locked into what I'm.
And it's not like you're 50 years old.
No.
Like these are people in their 30s that are like, can't let the wife know I smoke weed.
Well,
Like I can that makes more sense for somebody in like the 80s or something like that. But in 2024, I feel like people are pretty much themselves to their spouses. But then again,
You have
They're
to
not,
be.
yeah.
I mean, I'm lucky
Well,
enough to have
they're
a
not.
wife that does smoke weed
Yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
bunch. So we have a good time like that, and then we fart in front of each other and everything. It's
Now, I don't do that.
100%, baby.
Yeah, we're not
You
a
let it
farty
go.
house. Now, my 8-year-old farts like a trucker who has a steady diet of chili. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a kid thing, too. But I'm not that guy. I still have enough Catholic in me where I'm like, I'm not farting around my wife. Like, door shut when I'm dropping one, the
we
whole
do
thing.
that.
Yeah.
We don't shit
I mean,
with the
God
door.
bless. I think.
Sorry.
He caught himself. Yeah, I don't. I'm fascinated by people who do that. I'm kind of envious, but it's just not how we roll. You know.
That's how you say it.
We just
doo-doo.
can't live a life of not farting our farts. That is like pretty much my wife's motto. Fart
Yeah.
your farts.
She
Because
got that from me.
She's an acolyte of the
pain-
Bill Squire School
Yes.
of flatulence. Yeah.
She has very much attached to that.
I
And
appreciate it.
Like we can't just sit around with the pain in our stomach. What kind of life is that?
You won't get up and go into the other room.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I would get up and go
No,
in the other room.
she started farting in front of me 3 full months before I farted in front of her.
That's how you know you got a good woman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You got to keep her there.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You got one of them smart dummies, is
Oh,
what I like
yeah.
to think of.
She's
Because she's
definitely
like
that.
a scientist and she's brilliant, but also is a 10-year-old boy that loves wrestling. Like,
Yeah, and she watches wrestling very much like a child.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She complete cognitive dissonance where she's not like in on it like most adult wrestling fans are, where they're like noticing the flubs and commenting on like the storylines. And
She's
the
all in on the
performances.
spectacle.
It's like good guy versus bad guy. Yeah,
Mhm. Well, and going back to the people who don't like each other, everybody kind of it's people who never figured out, when you start dating somebody, you're showing them the best version of yourself.
Mhm.
But eventually, over time, if things go well, that kind of peels away. And some people got locked into it where they never showed the other person. And then the next thing you know, you're like, they're married. Hey, want to get married? Like, what led to that for people? They're like, well, I guess that's the next thing you do. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
very, very strange.
Some people have some sort of asinine number in their head of like, I should be married by this point,
Yeah, I
so
gotta
I
get
might
it
as well
done,
just tie
yeah.
this down.
Now, you got Brian Kenny, by the way, is headlining the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls tonight and tomorrow night. That's 4 shows total.
Yes, please come.
Funny, please come.
Please come.
Brian's one of the
Funnystop.com.
funniest out there, too.
Thank you.
So funny.
Funnystop.com or 330-923-4700 for the tickets. And OK Pants will be guesting.
Yeah, on the late show.
Guesting all over the place. So he's doing one of the 4 shows.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. That's tonight.
Yes, tonight.
Okay.
The 9:30 show.
What kind of scientist is your wife?
So she was a chemist.
Yeah.
Now she's more on the business side of things. So she works as a sales manager for a multinational chemical company.
And you're no dummy.
Kind of.
Knowing,
I'm
well,
very much a dummy.
I mean, we're all dummies compared usually to our women. But what I'm saying is,
Not me,
that's an
no.
intimidating person to be around potentially, right?
Mm.
Like if my wife's a chemist,
You get to know her.
No,
you get to know her.
It doesn't take long for you to be like, all right.
Yeah.
No, but like
She knows chemistry.
But initially, like, did you guys know each other? Like, how did you guys go back a ways, or did you just bump into each other and be like, oh, this works?
No, she's younger than me. She's 7.5, 8 years younger than me.
Yeah, okay.
And we met on Bumble.
Oh, you did.
Oh yeah, and we met with not the most honorable intentions.
Yeah.
And then
It was a one night stand that turned into a thing.
I mean,
Maybe.
it was more of a physical connection at first, and
Yeah.
and that was the topic of conversation, and both of us saying we don't want a relationship, and then
I remember.
very quickly it
I remember when it all went
evolved
down.
or devolved, whatever you want to call it, into a relationship.
Yeah.
Would you say that you guys had good chemistry?
Every last part of chemistry, yes.
That's so stupid. Okay, so it's not even a matter of pulling the goalie. You got to figure out the medication, all that. When you start
Yeah.
thinking about, are you guys looking at a brood? Are you one and done? Have you thought that far into it? You're not from a big family?
3 kids.
Yeah, that's not a big
Yeah.
family, right? Have you guys had that conversation? Where you're like, well, let's see how that goes, or is it from the jump? You're like, let's have 4.
No.
Okay.
In no way. I mean, we ideally like multiple children, but we also need to see how the first one goes.
Yeah,
Physically on her as well as financially on both of us.
yeah, right. Okay.
And
What
I'm
else?
old. I'm 35. And by that, the first
35. I'm
kid-
52, homie. I got an 8-year-old. You got plenty of time, is what I'm saying. You
I
got
don't know.
plenty of time.
I have type 2 diabetes and arthritis.
You
I'm
don't
already
have that
at
much
the
time.
old
Forget what I
person
said. You
spectrum.
don't have that much time. What is type 2 versus type 1? I don't know all the diabetes.
Type 1 is the one that you're like born with.
Okay.
And your body like doesn't produce insulin, so the sugar just kind of radical.
Type
in
2
your
is the
system.
kind you gave yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, but can't you get out of it too?
It's an
Don't people
intense
get out of-
process. Some people do, but it's like you pretty much have to just eat so strict for such a long period of time. I've
Grass
actually
and-
done it before.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this is no life to live.
Oh, you lost it.
Yeah.
Regained your
Yeah.
diabetes.
Yeah.
Was there a sense of accomplishment at that?
At
It doesn't
first,
come right back, right?
It always does. It goes away really easily when I'm able to lift weights. But then again, like it's been very difficult to lift weights because I've developed such bad arthritis.
So you're arthritic
Uh-huh.
at 35.
Uh-huh.
Is that from all the football?
Presumably, they're like my shoulders are kind of sliding around in the socket and then just bone on bone
You guys
grinding.
think you should have
Oh
kids?
my
Kids are messes.
I know we are messing.
Yeah, you got to pick them up. You got
Yeah.
to chase them. You go, wow.
And then Lord knows what they're inheriting.
Yeah. Well, you might be one and done, and that's okay too.
We'll see. Yeah,
And
I'm
nothing
fine
wrong
with
with
that
that.
too, yeah.
Yeah. So arthritic.
Uh-huh.
How do
do
you?
you guys need me to come and jump on the bed because you guys can't move? Soaking style.
Yeah. Just like get to the bottom there and grab one of the legs. and
That would be really nice.
Yeah. The less movement I have to make. Would God, I lost my train of thought.
Me and
Talking
my wife
about-
are physical messes.
Not that. It was the
Kids.
no I don't-
Arthritis.
Arthritis. It was, how do you realize that the diabetes is back?
Just once you find out that you have it the first time, the doctors are gonna want to see you quite often.
Oh, so you're seeing them and they go, well, it's back.
yeah.
The beatus
They
has
took me off the
returned.
medication at one point, and then they brought me back in for another doctor's appointment a year later, and they're like, "Oh, your A1C is up." You
Really?
gotta go
Oh,
back
that's
on the
I see
meds."
those commercials. That's
Yeah.
what that is. A1C.
It's like a 3-month average of your blood sugar levels.
And he goes, well, you're back in it.
He's like,
And
what did you do?
yeah, well, how do you answer that?
I said, "Cake is really delicious."
Ugh, I had so much cake that was the problem. Wow. All right. I don't have anything. I was reading an article and I was like, maybe I have that. I don't have anything.
You say it like you're disappointed.
Well,
I'm
everybody's
just a
got
regular,
something.
healthy person.
Everybody's got something. I mean, I don't have anything. I'm sure I'll get something. If something's going to get me, like all at once, right? I'll get like penile cancer or something. I'll get throat cancer. Oh, wouldn't that be ironic?
Butt cancer.
Butt cancer?
Butt cancer sounds
I
rough.
don't want butt cancer
No.
either. No.
Butt cancer,
I think I'd
no.
take penis cancer over butt cancer.
If given the choice, you might.
How do they treat penis cancer, though?
They'd probably chop it off.
You know,
You'd
if
rather-
I'm
you'd
old
rather
enough
have
in
that?
life, just get rid of that.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
I don't need that
Definitely
anymore.
one and
Allow
done.
me to sit at least. If I can't sit, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, donut cushion. Wow, so it's you got your work cut out for you then.
Yeah, I mean, I do control it pretty well with diet and just like 2 pills.
Yeah.
It's nothing of concern right now. The arthritis, that sucks. But
Is it like a thing that's just in the shoulders or is it in the knees or
it's just it's in the one shoulder. There's significant arthritis. They said I'm going to need a partial replacement soon, but they want me to hold off as long as possible because I'm only 35.
right?
They're like, if you sign up for 1 surgery, you're signing up for 3, so hold off as long as you can.
But we can at least fully establish that people who go to see you at the Funny Stuff this weekend will not see you hobble
No,
on the stage.
you won't even know that I have the arthritis. I'm not going to talk about it. I can hold a microphone up
Yep.
still.
Mm-hmm.
I
You don't
just- I
have
just
you don't
can't
have to like
lift
duck
weights.
You don't have to like electrical tape it to your hand or anything so that
No,
yeah.
we're good.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Not Parkinson's.
Brian Kenny is he's Ken O.
I am.
He's a multifaceted individual, and someday, father.
someday father.
Let's put it out there,
Yeah.
right? Someday, a father. He's doing 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night at the Funny Stop Comedy Club, the legendary venue in Cuyahoga Falls. You can go to funnystop.com. You can call them just as easily, 330-923-4700. Where can people go find you on all those social medias I hear the kids talking about?
You know, I'm not that big on social media. You can find me at I Am Brian Kenny, but the podcasting, I do that quite a bit. I've got the 10 Cent Beer Life podcast with Dave Herron and Kyle Hahnhorst. I have a great time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Pound Town podcast with Will Burge.
Beautiful. I just ran into Will Burge.
Will Burge.
I hadn't seen him in a minute, and I was at a friend's birthday party in Lakewood at this bar. There's Will Burge.
Yeah.
Always
He
good to
loves
see
bars.
him. Yeah, indeed. Well, good to see you, pal.
Good to see you
Yeah,
too.
good luck
Thanks
with
for having
everything.
me.
Absolutely. Ryan Kenny at the Funny Stop this weekend. Again, go to funnystop.com or the number to call 330-923-4700, and we'll be back.
Diabetes. Yeah. What you got? Diabetes. Yeah. Diabetes. What you got?
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, your testing supplies may be covered. Here's how it works.
What you got? Diabetes.